when I look at this, I have the feeling that today is another of those days where we have to trust the process and probably also our inky fingers even more than on other days. And when I look at this, there comes another feeling, and that's this thing where you think, is this the ugly stage? Is this trash? Or will this perhaps become a masterpiece? And yes, I have really weird pieces here on my desk, but all of this gave me some inspiration. I made a prototype for some layered poppy flowers. This is my first attempt. And when I saw that, I had some things where I thought, great, that's exactly what I want to have, but this was too boring for me. Then, with trying different things, I came to this here. And I also thought about some time-saving techniques or so, how we could get something like this in a shorter amount of time, which this took me. And while I was sitting here and I thought, I need to clean the desk to make this video for you, I saw all of this. And then I decided I turn on the camera right in this moment to show you this, because I think from this, and especially this trash here and this little stuff, we can learn a lot, and we can perhaps turn this and this idea into something even cooler. So let's try to make some layered poppy flowers today. Hi, this is Luise Heinzl, and I'm still working on my Poppyfield Avenue junk journal, which you can see here. And you can also find a whole playlist about this journal and my paper collection, Poppyfield Avenue, linked down below this video. There you can find nearly everything of my process in those videos. I'm pretty proud because I could manage to film nearly all of this, which brought me to this stage of the journal. In the playlist, you can also find my paper premiere, which you can watch on replay. That was a premiere video on YouTube a while ago, like several weeks ago, if you see this today when I upload it. And there you can also see a flip through this journal. Obviously in a more finished condition than it's now, meaning, this plus the flowers, because I'm today at the point where I want to add the flowers, and then I will film the paper premiere video, and that is what you then can see when you see this, that is the, how do you say that? The stage of the journal, which you can see in the premiere video. And this is like a little time travel, because I would like to show you some parts of my process on how I made the journal. And today, as I said, we're going to make these flowers, because I thought when I looked into my journal and looked at the pages, we have a lot of printed flowers here, these poppy flowers, but I want more dimensional poppy flowers. And I also realized that these layered flowers somehow became part of my junk journal style or so. I don't know. I think I want to call it like that because it's somehow part of my style. And I made several other layered flowers in the past for other journals, and I thought it could be cool to vary that idea. I mean, the base idea is to make layered flowers, but with different materials and different components. So what I have here is just some normal vellum. As you can see here, here is some medium on it, but it's just a normal piece of vellum. Then I have spritzed that with various different red sprays, which were fired brick oxide spray, barn door oxide spray, lumberjack plaid oxide spray, and lumberjack plaid spray stain. And after spraying the paper, I have put some water on the paper, then I've turned it around and ironed it, so that I got this cool texture here. the oxidation of the oxide sprays on this side of the paper, and on the other side it looks like this. And I think this color fits even better to the colors in my journal. So if you want to try that, you could do that. I find that really interesting because you can see I already have some petals here, and depending on the direction we use them, they look totally different because, you know, on the one side of the paper there's the oxidation, and obviously that makes a different color. And on the other side we have this, what comes through the paper, and I find this even more interesting, not only because the color matches better, but also because it's more poppy-ish somehow for me, because poppies look very fragile, and I think they are very fragile, and that's the reason why I chose the vellum, because I thought that gives this fragile look somehow, because with this like translucent, semi-translucent, then this splattered stuff here, it's really, you know, when I put my hand behind here, it's pretty translucent, even if I think that we later on, when we have our finished flowers, don't see that so well anymore, but that doesn't matter because this is my starting point, this is my inspiration, the material is my inspiration to get this. If I can see that it is translucent here later, okay, but if not, it's also okay. When I hold this against the light, I can even see that. I think you can't see that in the camera, but here on these petals where they come up, you can see the translucency, is that the noun? Hopefully, very well. And yeah, that is cool. So let's do that, okay? So what are we going to need for that? First, a little bit of space. So let's bring this out of the way. Ooh! This I will probably need in a second. And then I want to take my paper here. And now I thought about a little trick. So I take this and I fold this. Can you see that? Oh my goodness, this paint is wet and I need the paint in a second. How can I handle that you can see it? I want to fold this at approximately 1 inch because I don't want to have my flowers too big. And when we fold it at 1 inch, we will get petals which are a little smaller than 1 inch, and then, you know, when we put them together, this is already then pretty big. But please do the size you like and you need for your journal. Then I just cut this off here to get a strip of paper which looks like this, where we have this fold, and then, you know, it's like a little V. And then I want to take this, and here is the folded side now. This is black acrylic paint. And this is water. This is a Q-tip. It was a Q-tip. Ooh, look at this impression. That looks cool. And now I want to mix this. And first I want to try something which I found out before I started recording, but I don't know if it will work a second time. Oh yes, look, smash to this edge with the Q-tip to get it dark there, because the center of a poppy flower is black, isn't it? Use a ton of water, please, to make sure that it really flies around. If you have not enough water, it will not look so nice. Because then it could happen that it's just a circle what you get here. What you also could try is, and that's what I did for the prototype, make a puddle with acrylic paint and water, and then blow it on there like so with a straw or such a tool. But as you can see, the result gets different. I think, oh no, I know, oh no, I destroyed this because, oh no, okay. I destroyed it because I turned it around. So let's do it here. Let's do it like on the other side. I think it doesn't really make a big difference because this, I mean, what is this? This is just the center of the thing. And what I want here is just a little bit of black. This works. Ooh, this works even better. Hold the paper like so. Okay. Hold the paper like so. and then blow the stuff against the edge. Then you don't destroy the pattern on the other side. Okay, that's obviously the trick. So when we have that and this mess, we take our heat tool and just dry this. So then when we have that, we take that. Now we have this open area here, and the black is here, and the closed area is there where the black is. Yeah. So then I'm going to take this and I fold this so that it's approximately, yeah, a square slash a rectangle, which is a little more like a square, like in this direction. Do you know what I mean? So not like this, but wider than a square would be. Does that make sense? And I fold it like an accordion. Just like this. And then I end up with this little thing, which I just cut off so that I can't get confused. And then I have this little thing. So let's take this. This is on the bottom where the black is, and then we just go for it and just without thinking cut in here. And I try to do that as irregularly as possible because that makes it more interesting. So then we have something like this, which already looks pretty cool. But we know that as soon as we fold a vellum or emboss it or yeah, whatever, it gets white. Can you see that? There where the fold is, it gets white. And that is cool. Because with that information, we can take our scissors, hold this thing like so, and then go along the edges here because then they get white. And if you do that a little more aggressively, they also get distressed a little bit, which makes for me a really big difference because that way we can get different shapes for that, especially here at the top, yeah, like at the top, or how do I want to call that? I don't know. I think that looks really cool. You could also try to use a sandpaper or so. I haven't tried that yet, but that should work as well. And I also want to destroy them a little bit. Obviously not completely, but you can even do it like so and cut in a little bit so that some of this, why can't I make it work now? Some of this will even fall off. Let's crumble it a little bit because then it's perhaps easier and we get white to the surface of the petals as well. And then it looks like this. And let's then go over it because I want that small pieces come off. Please come off. Because that way we get a bigger variety of shapes. Okay, here we go. Here, can you see this little piece? If that wants to come off, get rid of it, okay? Because I don't want these petal shapes to be boring. And for me, boring would mean that they would all look the same. Of course, you could make more than one of these strips and then cut different shapes and mix those. But I find that when you do it like this and you get this white edge, that looks then even more interesting. And also these little destroyed areas, I find that really, really interesting. So when we have that, I found out that it's easier to then just take them apart because then they are easier to handle. So when you fold them open, you have obviously something like this where it's still connected here. We take them apart. Oh, look at this one. That turned out really cool. Oh, this looks nearly realistic somehow, even if I'm not looking for a realistic result, but you know what I mean. I want this to be really abstract, but noticeable that it shall be a poppy flower. So then, when we have that, this is now like my biggest shape, biggest size of my petals. You could see I have cut off not so much from this size of the paper, so that I got like the most out of this little square. What I will do now is I will take another paper and fold that a little smaller than an inch, so that I already have an orientation what I'm doing. Why the heck have I already wiped off the acrylic paint? Because I need it again now. I have absolutely no idea. But nevertheless, this is now a little smaller than an inch. Can you see? We take our black acrylic paint again. Some water.
We used to meet at 9 p.m. down by the stationery nook. Just the two of us, graffiti marks and streetlight ghosts. A hug, a kiss, that charming misprinted book. 'Cause that was the one you loved the most. You tear out a page, then read a line or two. Your secret letters, hidden chapters I was longing for. You folded it and smiled. I love those words and you. And today, there's nothing I miss more.
Another component I would like to include in this project are these little blobs here. I have them in white and in grayish color. We made these when we made our coffee dyed collage paper. There's a video about how I made this in the playlist linked below as well. This is really easy to do. Just take some coffee dyed paper and some simple mediums like white acrylic paint, black acrylic paint, gray acrylic paint, or coffee, or rust water. This was done with rust water. And I used this for backing some of my ephemera in the journal, but also for other little things like collages and so on. But I thought it could be cool if we cut around this and use that for the flowers as well. So I will quickly cut some of these out.
Send me letters from Poppyfield Avenue, time-worn secrets, telling tales we knew were true. Wrapped in coffee and cinnamon air, the ceremonies we used to share. Every line a whisper, a memory too.
I just got another idea. What if we don't cut them out completely? If you want to know more about the wonderful voice you've just heard, check out the description box. There you will find a link to the one and only Daniel Evans, who has brought my lyrics of the Poppyfield Avenue soundtrack to life by singing them and putting his magic to to the lyrics. He is on YouTube, on Instagram, on TikTok, and nearly everywhere. He's also doing live streams on TikTok. Now I nearly forgot what I wanted to do. So if you want to join his live streams, then you can find the information in his stories on Instagram and TikTok when he's going to be live. No, not like this. I thought it could be a good idea to not cut it out completely, but only a little bit, and then tear the rest. But I still think it could look great, but not like I did it here. Wait. Needs to be somehow more irregular and not so round, I think. Let's see. Let's take this again to imagine how that could then look. No. Well, but it would fit the style of the journal, I think. Sometimes, do you also have that when you have things in your hand that looks so different than if you would put it to the page? Yeah, look. I have the feeling, let's quickly put this over here, because I have put this flower here because this shape was here and I thought that could be a nice thing. So this could be a good spot for such a poppy flower, one of these as well. We could even take one layer which is cut out, like fuzzy cut out, and then take this and put that under there as another layer. That is even cooler. Let's do that. And that way we would have perhaps one of these gray ones on here, then the flower on there, and then we would even have the contrast in color here. Yes, that could work. Okay, that is an information I can handle. So we have these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1. Oh, and by the way, if you're new here, this soundtrack, Poppyfield Avenue, you will get for free with your download if you decide to purchase one of the Poppyfield Avenue items from my shop. So if you're wondering how you could get the soundtrack, that's the way to get it. Just purchase one of these items and then you will get it automatically with the download. I think that's a cool thing. I'm hoping that that is a cool thing. So I will quickly cut and tear these as well. So then, can we do that somehow strategically? I think the easiest way is to make this first and then decide which of these will go to which of those. So let's put these aside. Let's first take those which we have cut out all around, like, you know, fuzzy cut out. Let's take these first. I think that is easier. And then we are going to start with these bigger petals we have made from the vellum. That is going to become our first layer. How many did I use here? 1, 2, 3, 4 for the first layer. Let's try that. I think 3 or 4 petals for the first layer is a good amount, but obviously you can use as many as you want. But what I'm thinking right now is, when I made this, I was really satisfied with how this came out, and this really reminded me to poppy flowers. Compared to this is also nice, but this is, for me, it's just a flower, and it's not so much a poppy flower than this is somehow. And I think that is because this is like only half. And with this, it's round. And with that, it looks more like a normal flower, just like a regular symmetrical flower. And this is also more interesting when it's only half. And we can see this better, obviously. And because of that, I think 3 or 4 should be a good amount of petals for this first layer. So I'm going to take some glue, and I will now try to not overthink this. You can see I do put the glue like on more than one at a time. It's pretty hot in here, so let's not do more than 3, because I want to avoid that my glue dries too quickly. And then I'm just going to take these and layer these on here. And it obviously also depends a little bit on how big this thing is, how many petals you want to take for the first layer. I can here already see that 3 is totally enough. Even if I had 4 here, where's the difference? I let them overlap a little bit more on the other one. Let's try that here as well. But I still think that here 3 is enough. I think that's enough, because I want this negative space, which I can get from this layer. And I did this thing with the glue on multiple pieces at once, so that I don't get this danger to panic, because when I see that and I see something which I want to change, I have no chance to change it. And that's exactly what I want to force myself to do, because I tend to overthink. If you know me already, you know that. And I think with something like this, it's the worst thing which could happen, that you overthink it. And with this, look how different these already are. And that is exactly what I want to reach here, that they get really different, because I don't want to have you know, all of the same flowers in my journal. And when you look at poppy flowers, you can see they are all different, and that is what I want to have here. And I don't want to have duplicates. And I think this is a good way to do it, and it's fast as well. That is also good. Look, if I hadn't done it like this, I would probably have thought that these are too big for this thing. But with this method of putting the glue there, and then you have the need to put these petals on, because otherwise the glue would dry. You can't think about something like that. And in the end, I'm sure this will look good, even if we haven't thought about this now, if it really makes sense like this. Okay. So then this is left over, that doesn't matter. And then I thought we could perhaps also include some die cuts. And I've decided again for some butterflies, because I'm thinking that butterflies make great flowers. I'm hoping that I have enough in black. But even if not, we can just take some acrylic paint and quickly make them black. And obviously you could also take another color, it doesn't have to be black. We could even try Ay, ay, ay. Some colors in the journal are a little bit like this. Ooh, look how cool that looks. That is perfect. I think this could already be enough. I also have this brown one, which would fit perfectly to this. And it has these weird red splatters on it. Let's take that as well so that we can use that up, because otherwise it will stay in this container for the next 4,000 years. And now we cut the butterfly in half. Then we cut each of the wings in half so that we get these single components here. And obviously, depending on the butterfly die you have, these turn out differently. Yeah, but I think these are great petals as well and great shapes for something like a flower. You can also decide if you perhaps want to cut it like I did it here, because that was different, but I think I don't have taken out one of those butterflies which I used for the other thing. It was this one. Here, I didn't cut it like so, like I did it with the other one a second ago, but I've cut like this. And then I had these pieces and I left them. Yeah, compared to these, here I got 4 pieces from one butterfly, and here I have only 2. And I did that on the other flower exactly like that, because then I could layer it like so, and this is also a great element for these layers. I did it even in the opposite order, like so. Then this is more visible, and then we can just put that in here, and I think this color would even fit. Let's do that. But let's do it here because this one is a little bigger. So we just put some glue here. I like to take a glue which dries transparent, so that when I have this and it dries, then we can't see any glue oopsies later. I think here we do it a little offset so that it shows up better later. This looks really weird now, I know, but please trust me, okay? And trust the process. Are these too big? Nope, that's good. And I like these butterflies for this because they have so many open spaces, and with that we can see the other layer of the petals we just did, and this just adds to the texture somehow. Can we cut this one like so as well? It's not how I cut here. That is probably not possible with every butterfly die cut we might have, because look how straight this is. I mean, well, it would work if we would, wait, can we perhaps even, yeah, let's try it like so. Look, here I have put the die cut pieces in the same direction where the poppy petals are. Yeah, so everything is like in this round shape here, and this layer is here, and here is nothing. Yeah, if you see this as a circle, only the top half of the circle is filled with the things. The same here. But here I'm thinking if I would do it the same, if I would think the same, then I would need to do it like this. That would look cool. But we could also try to do it like so and fill a part of the bottom half of this circle. But let's do, for comparison, another one in the other direction. Do I have another of these butterflies? Which one was that? It's this one here, this shape. It's not black, but I think for comparison that should work. Ooh, and I even like that it is not black here, because this color fits well to this. And here it's brown. So let's glue this in this direction so that it's in the top half of the circle. And what to do with these? Can we? Wait, where's the other part? I mean, this belonged to this and this belonged to that. Can we just do it like so? Why not? Why not? What a cool contrast, look. Okay. What is this? What do you want to tell me? We could even try it very irregular, because when you look at poppy flowers, you can also see that some of them are not completely intact anymore because of, you know, the weather which influenced their shape or so, and perhaps even destroyed parts of them. I can't talk. And with that, I think this would also make sense, even if this is very abstract. But if something like that, which comes from the reality, like for example, that flowers could get destroyed or poppy is fragile or whatever, if something like that, which comes from the reality, inspires this, I mean, that can only be a good thing. And even if it is in the end an abstract flower, I think it's good when we can find inspiration from the reality and then transfer that to these projects. And if we think we want to glue this behind here, because this is just so big but the color fits well, then we just glue it here. Okay. Okay, so each of these has the butterfly pieces. And then we can take the smaller petals for the next layer. And now this is, of course, something, I mean, this will not finish them up, but it will add to the final look. Until now, it's just layers, layers, layers. But everything which goes on here now adds to the final look. So I want to choose these a little strategically. Also look a little bit on at how much black is here and how intense is the black. Because I think if I would, for example, take this here now, and if I would put that in the middle here, I think that looks a little bit weird because it's so grayish. But if I take one, I'm sorry, which is similar to the others, can you see that? Then, wait, give me a second, please. If I do it like so, this black area looks more regular here, and this is not so different than the others. So that is what I want to pay attention to when I do this here now. And now I glue also 3 or 4, depending on how I like this. on here. Also in this half circle shape. This turned out absolutely amazing. It's not finished yet, but I didn't think that it could become something cool like this. This was really where I thought, ooh, with these straight wings, that looked a little bit weird, but now I really like it. That proves that you should do these like weird things. And what I now want to try is, I had these, and do you know how that came? When I cut these shapes, I did adjust them a little bit. So that means when I had this, I had cut this out, this shape, the petal shape, and then I was like, oh, it's not small enough, or it's too regular. And then I adjusted that, and with that I just cut the tiniest little bit off. And I want to try if this is possible here as well, so that we can use this stuff. But I'm not so sure if this can work, because we would need, ooh, oh no. No, okay, it's not possible anymore. It's, okay, now it's behind my table. It has just flown away. So if you, okay, that means, wait, if we want to get something like this, we would need to do it differently. We would need to take a piece of this and now we can obviously fold it way smaller, because we don't need a whole petal anymore. Let's see if that can work. If that will not work, then we will just give up on this idea, but let's try it. So I cut in here, like I would cut if I would cut the petals. Then I throw that away. It's now closed here, so that means if this was the shape of the petal, yeah, this is how I did it. I adjusted the shape, and with that I got this. But this looks totally different than this. Why is that? Why is this like, this looks like the center of such a thing. Can you see? It looks like it wants to be here, like so. Why is this so different now? I mean, we could use these, but I don't want to spend the next 3 days to glue them down. How is it possible that this is like a little bush? What is the English word for bush? Is it bush, perhaps? This is like so. Perhaps it's even good when it's like so. I'm just trying to think positive, because this would be harder to glue down. And what I also not like yet is that we can't see that so well on those petals, because it's the same color. Perhaps we should do it like this, that we have that in a spot where this red color meets the other color. I will not think about this. I will glue this down. I will be happy that I have this here, which is easy to glue. side, it is pretty thick. This could cause some problems in a second. If you got something like I got here, make sure that you press it down here, okay? Otherwise, we will get problems in a second, because I want to glue a button here, and if there was something which is higher, then that could become a problem. But I want to do it like this. Look, is it worth to glue that down? I did the others, I mean. Is it worth this thing? I mean, I thought that I wanted to show you this because I know that not everyone has these, and these I want to use also because I just like them, and these are somehow also, yeah, they became part of my style over the past months and years, and I use these for everything. For butterfly feelers, for everything. Search for flower stamens, what is the plural? I don't know. On Amazon, and there you will find them in different colors, different sizes. You can use them for everything, which I really do. Butterfly feelers, something like this. I mean, they are meant to make flowers, yeah, so obviously you can use them for flowers, but you can use them for other decorative things as well. Ooh, stay there, please, just stay there. And I truly think this is a great addition. I like that it is not so only these, and I thought not everyone has these, so I thought when I saw this with these little paper thingies, it could be a great alternative if you don't have these. And now I'm thinking, is that perhaps totally stupid, because it would take so long to glue these down if they don't come off like this little bushel here. I don't know the English word for bushel. Let's try it. Tweezers. Give me tweezers. Just for your information, for me today is Friday. The Friday before the Sunday where the paper premiere is. And I obviously haven't recorded the paper premiere video yet. And that is something I need to do today. Otherwise, I will not have it for Sunday. And that also makes me a little nervous. But this whole series took way longer than I thought. And that's why I'm so late with these things. I mean, I could have shown you the journal without these flowers, yeah, but then I thought that is also a bit stupid, because it's these flowers, layered flowers in general, are part of my style, and I want to include those in my journals. And you know, then I want you to see this as well. But I mean, what can you see here? You can see that this looks terrible. Why is it so cool here, and here it looks so weird? Perhaps we should let it hang down here. Is that better? Let's add some of these. I mean, I really like these tiny details and stuff, and using the last bits and pieces I can find on my table. But this looks like a party pom-pom somehow. But it gives something here which makes the flower more complete. I'm overthinking. Ah! Can you please tell me that I'm just... Thank you. You already said it. Probably 5 minutes ago. I'm just overthinking. No, no, no. I mean, a really crazy thing with these ideas, and I have to laugh about that nearly every day. Because, what is this? If I would have edited the video so that this would not be visible for you, yeah? And I would have just taken it and thrown it into my trash can before starting recording this. You would have never, never, never seen these. You would have never seen my struggling with this. And you would have never, you know, even noticed that I had this here. And then I just could say, we take this, we glue this on there. We take that, we glue that on there. Then the flower is finished. Thanks for watching. Bye. But that's not me, and that's not how my brain works. And sometimes I think that is good. And you also then see something like this, and that, yeah, this is a process until you get satisfied with this, because you need to be satisfied with this and no one else. But sometimes I think I could make my life so much easier if I just would skip these ideas. Also, the idea with this stuff, because when I started recording, I thought, why don't I try to take this? And you can see with cutting, we got something like this with these holes. And when we take this and do it like this, we also get, where did I get that? Like so, we also get something interesting. Nearly looks like a little bow or so, and here we get these negative pieces. But it could work on a bigger scale, but in this case I think it could be a good idea to put this here, but on a bigger flower. In this case it's just too much for me. But you could consider perhaps doing it like this, and then take a stapler just to hold this flat, staple in here so that you also can handle it better. And then you could consider doing it like this. Especially here, for example, with this one, where the butterfly part is pretty massive color-wise, and also, yeah, also it is pretty big, isn't it? We could consider gluing it down in the journal like so, or so that this color is more present. Oh, or even like this, look. Holy cow, what is that? I mean, this lets it look, makes it look a little bit like an orchid. How is that word said? I have no idea. Give me... Wait, let me finish this first. Oh, I need to go to the toilet. Oh my goodness. Do you know that when you get excited? I mean, that is clearly a sign that I'm officially old now. I got a little bit too excited. I need to go to the toilet now before I can... Oh, holy cow. It's urgent. I'm so sorry. I need to go now. we can let this dry, okay, and then I will be back in a second. Oi, 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 oi. Yeah, I'm back. And as soon as I... Let's not talk about this, okay? Okay. So then, where was I? Here. Before I decide, I mean, this could be a really cool idea, but the problem I have with this is that it really looks different than a poppy flower now. It's not a poppy anymore. I mean, is this a poppy, Luise? I was thinking it would make it really bulky, but it really doesn't. The vellum is pretty stiff, but it's not that bulky. Because that would also be perhaps a thing where I would think that I would rather not use it, just to make sure that it doesn't get too bulky. But it is not really bulky. It really is not bulky. That's what I was trying to say. This looks really interesting. And while I was sitting in my living room an hour ago or so, I was chatting with Daniel, who, as I said, brought my lyrics to life with our 4-hour song. 4 hour. It's really hard to say a sentence and tear a piece of corrugated cardboard at the same time. I was sitting in my living room chatting with Daniel, who has brought our soundtrack to life by singing my lyrics. And somehow I was staring at an Amazon packaging, a really big box, and it was opened and I couldn't find the time to unbox that thing completely. And I've just opened the box, you know, and it was still there, and I was thinking, is this good? And the time the conversation with Daniel gave me, you know, I stared at this for like half an hour or so. It gave me the chance to think about this, because I'm thinking this look of the corrugated cardboard that fits really well to the style of the journal, but it's at the same time also pretty bulky. But give me something. Flat. Not so regular anymore. Not so texture-wise, not so much in the foreground like here anymore. That is cool. This is nearly too much. Can you see that? This is these little thingies, these waves. They are nearly distracting from this. Even if I like that as well. Okay, that is an information we can take for finding some spots for these in the journal, and in that step I want to include these things as well. I think it's easier to do that when you decide for where they will go in the journal instead of now, but that is just a personal thing. You could also take these layers and just glue them to the flowers like so now, and then, you know, put the whole thing into your journal. Or perhaps you want to craft along with this video and then store the flowers in your stash before you decide into which journal they will go. This was not the plan. Originally I thought I want to search for some spots, like for example, this is not glued down yet, but like for example here on the edge of something somehow, but this really speaks to me somehow. I have no idea if this is in the correct spot now, but I really like this. If I wouldn't make this video here, I would probably let this dry before I flip the page, but I will carefully do this now so that we can go on. With the green in the background, this and the green fits really well. But in this case, I think I will just glue it down without this layer, just only this, so that we have the stem here and a little bit of this. And that we, you know, we have now just manipulated the print, but here this little portion and this little portion and this little portion, the color there fits really well to this, and it adds to the whole arrangement now. But the stem is now, you know, part of the thing, and if I would take this, then it would be a little bit destroyed probably, the shape, I mean. Never in my life would I have come to the idea to combine these colors if I wouldn't have this here in the journal.
And today, there's nothing I miss more. Send me letters from Poppyfield Avenue, time-worn secrets, telling tales we knew were true. Wrapped in coffee and cinnamon air, the ceremonies we used to share. Every line a whisper, a memory to renew. Send them to me, your letters from Poppyfield Avenue. The cobblestones remember us, though now they hum alone. I keep your words inside my coat, the corners worn and frayed. my footsteps lost beneath the haze of the silver moon. But your love and those words will never fade. Send me letters from Poppy Field Avenue, time-worn secrets, telling tales we knew were true. Wrapped in coffee and cinnamon air, the ceremonies we used to share. Every line a whisper, a memory to renew. Send them to me, your letters from Poppy Field Avenue. Postmarks wither, but time can blur what's true. Your words still bloom like poppies do. Your letters still hold that soft embrace. In every line I find more of you. Send me letters from Poppy Field Avenue, time-worn secrets, telling tales we knew were true. Wrapped in coffee and cinnamon air, the ceremonies we used to share. Every line a whisper, a memory to renew. Send them to me, your letters from Poppy Field Avenue.
So here we go. So that's it for today. That's it for today. I hope you like this idea, and I'm really hoping that you will try this out with your own materials and your own additional ideas, because this is just so much fun, and I'm hoping that you can experience that with your own flowers and in your own journals as well. See you the next time, and have a very great, I can't speak anymore, great and creative day. See you.